Thanks everyone for tuning in to Kirkham Iron Tech's Best Practices. My name is Davin Chitwood, and I'm here with our founder and CEO, Tom Kirkham. And today we're going to talk on the topic of antiviruses and why they just simply can't and will not stop cyber attacks anymore. Now that may be an eye-opener, but don't turn us off yet. Make sure and listen, and we'll explain why they're just old technology. Tom, what's your take on that?
Okay, so let's think about antivirus. And antivirus was created back in the days when hackers did it for fun, bragging rights amongst their peers. It wasn't a multi-billion, trillion-dollar worldwide industry. It's a huge industry now. And the way an antivirus works is your antivirus downloads what's known as a signature file. So it has a reference and it compares what's in the signature file, the virus signature file, to the processes running on the computer. And when it detects a virus, it tries to stop it. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. They miss other things because sometimes, advanced tactics, they'll say, look over here, it's like a magician, right? The attackers, oh, this looks like a ransomware attack, but what he's really doing is putting a server backdoor in. And antivirus just has this old technology frequently misses that stuff. And so there's been an entire new class of product that's called EDR, stands for Endpoint Detect and Response, or Respond. And if it uses artificial intelligence, so it can do predictive analysis of the behavior of the user and the computer on what's going on. So the reason it's so much better is because, for example, because a modern ransomware attack uses everything that's built into your computer already. Use it, say it's an Excel spreadsheet that you've opened on an email attachment. The spreadsheet calls a macro, the macro calls a disk encryption service. There's no virus to detect in that process. So it just blasts right past the old school antivirus stuff.
Antivirus, yeah.
Right. But that storyline is known to best of breed EDRs, and it knows that the user's opening a spreadsheet, the spreadsheet's calling a macro, it's already on alert. As soon as it sees the disk encryption services, it freezes the process. So it understands the attack method and technique, not looking for a virus signature. Another reason why you need EDR is because in an earlier session, I was talking about the NSA being breached. Well, not only were their tools stolen, but also the source code to go along with them. The very same Stuxnet virus that the United States and Israel used to attack Iran's nuclear enrichment facility is being used against us all over the world by criminal hackers. And other nation states' tools have been stolen, and they're available for free download on the dark web. And they get past old school detection systems. They're engineered to get past that because they know so few people have enterprise grade security. And for that reason, we made a decision a few years back that we were no longer going to support antivirus outside of what comes with Windows for free. And the main reason for that is one of the EDRs that we install actually hooks into it and does analysis. So going back to NIST, it can detect and respond and notify InfoSec professionals to investigate. And all good EDRs do that. And as I've mentioned before, this class of product just does not work properly if it's not only deployed, but administered. Managed. And that's when you see that acronym MDR, right? Yes. Managed Endpoint Detect and Respond. And because they are advanced tools, it's not set and forget. No. Proper defense now is no longer do it yourself. And it's just a better way to do it. So for that reason, we require all of our clients to have EDR installed. We believe it's that critical, and that's one of our best practices.
Yeah, and that last thing you said, best practices, and something that you say very often is best of breed defenses, and relying on an antivirus, Norton, McAfee, antiviruses like that you may have used for 5-10 years for your business. is not best of breed practices anymore. It may have been maybe 10, 15 years ago, but as cyber threats have changed and adapted, you have to change and adapt with it. And that's where the information security team comes in.
What do we mean when we say best of breed or best in class?
Yes.
Well, there are independent research companies, groups like Gartner, Attack Miter, and others that research a lot of different technologies. But in the case of EDRs, because technology changes and some EDRs improve and others fall down, because the attack strategies and techniques and tactics and procedures that they use, it's constantly evolving. So as a company, we do best of breed or best in class, and we look at the research and we constantly evaluate both all of our stacks, but our security stack especially, and we stay up to date on it. And when you're looking at Gartner, they call it the Magic Quadrant.
Mm-hmm.
We want to use one of the very best, highly rated ones, the most successful, and that's where we go, because we're seeing more and more of these these old school security companies starting to use that EDR term.
Mm-hmm.
And none of them yet are in that top tier of because the companies that are really good at it, that truly build best of breed, that's all they do. Now, when you look at their website, it may look like they're doing a bunch of stuff, but the whole thing gears around that EDR, and it's complement to it. So when you implement a defense in depth with best of breed or best in class tools, you're implementing enterprise grade cybersecurity defensive posture. And yes, it does cost more, but it's not prohibitive. And I would argue that it's the cost of doing business anymore.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And when you talk about security is not something to just settle for the least effective security tool or the cheapest security tool. When you talk about security, that's something that you should take serious, and you should expect the best of breed tools in anything you get regarding security. And simply because the business, the company, the organization that you've worked so hard to build over the past 5-10 years could be taken away in seconds by simply a new employee clicking on a link in an email. That should be the reason that you want the best of breed security tools, no matter what, just so you don't have to close your doors because a new employee clicked on a link.
Yeah, well, this is a topic for another session.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but bottom line is 95%, 90 to 95%, depending on the research you look at, says in almost all cases, or in all successful attacks, 90 to 95%, at least some or all of it was because of a human security failure. Someone they were conned into opening that file attachment, which deployed the ransomware or other attack. And, when we do a defense in depth, we know that one of the layers is going to bend or break. And so we want to layer backing that up and a layer backing that up. So when you think about that spreadsheet that comes through your email, it goes through a spam filter, right? Mm-hmm. Well, it can get past a spam filter. And then it comes into the inbox, and now the employee's conned into opening that spreadsheet, and it unleashes the attack. So we got another layer there. Mm-hmm. And that's what defense in depth, that's what best in class is all about. I could spend an hour talking about this.
Yeah.
But it's to us, an all-in-one solution is not as effective as we believe that we need to provide to our clients.
Yep. That's exactly right. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in, and we'll have more topics and more conversations like that, but we appreciate you all, and we look forward to talking to you again.